Welcome to Epcot Center here in Orlando, Florida at the Walt Disney World Resort. Just kind of moseying through Epcot at the moment and not staying here very long, going from one end to the other. Through Future World, yes, it's Future World. We're going to walk through Future World, we're going to walk through World Showcase and out through the International Gateway. Because we have a project this evening. Going to uncover one of the great mysteries of the Walt Disney World Resort, and it's here at the Epcot resorts. And I've done my research. This is going to be a really good vlog, so I promise you're going to enjoy this. So I'm going to get my rear ending gear. We got some walking to do. So let's get started, shall we? Welcome. You know, you can smell the Disney water. Fantastic, beautiful day today. The heat arrives tomorrow. It's going to be about 97, 98 degrees this weekend. So if you're going to be here, stay cool and don't be doing that all day long crap. And we'll do a vlog coming up shortly about how to deal with the warmth. Onward to the International Gateway. Oh look, it's the never-ending New Year's Eve party. It's like Tipsy McStaggers. As I was walking through Future World, I heard a noise coming from over in the test track region, and I said to myself, hark, what is that noise coming from test track? There's the cars back on the track and testing. I haven't heard that in a while. It's been almost a year. Here we are, International Gateway. To go to France, go left.
If me or mom was
International Gateway, go right. Also where you can board the Skyliner to go over to Hollywood Studios, go to Riviera, Caribbean Beach, and then all the way out at the other end, Pop Century and Art of Animation. Here we are. Yatchet and Beach Club, Boardwalk, Swan and Dolphin. Swan and Dolphin is where we're heading. Uh-oh, gotta talk loud. Can't be copywritten here. Ah, copyright. Welcome everybody to the beautiful Swan and Dolphin Resort here on Disney World property. What brought me out here? That right there. The mystery of the black box. What is it? Why is it there? People talk about it a lot. You don't see many vlogs on it. It's kind of one of those like urban legend type things, but people that know this resort best know that thing right there has got a lot of history as to what it could have been, what it might be, and what it actually is. So I've actually gone and done a lot of research and broken this down, and I know exactly why that is there now. You're going to enjoy this. Also, what does this design mean? What is this thing? What is this triangle behind me? What does it all represent? Why did they do it this way? You're going to find out in this vlog. Welcome everybody. Come along for this ride. This is going to be a good one. This is a architect Michael Graves design. When Eisner was looking for an architect, they were kind of dipping their toe into theme design. You know, they had the Polynesian, Grand Floridian, but something that was of this magnitude was a little bit different, kind of going out there on the ledge a little bit. And yeah, he caught some crap for it. But basically, he wanted the design to be appealing to not only an 8-year-old, but be appealing to somebody here on business for a convention. And was born the Swan and Dolphin, again, by architect Robert Graves, who, again, Michael Eisner sought out because back in the day, Disney actually gave a damn about the theming and immersing people in the hotels. Now, the one thing is, this is a very different hotel resort from all the other ones on property because this is not a Disney-owned hotel. This is a Marriott hotel. You get a lot of Disney perks, but some of them you do not get. And I'm going to make this clear right now because a lot of people have been bitching on Facebook and social media about booking here because it's on property, but since it's not a Disney World hotel, you do not get the free water park perk with the stay here. So if that's what you're after, if you're after free water parks in that, And because you supposedly right now get a free water park visit on your first day, you will not get that staying here. Just keep that in mind. You've had your caution. But other than that, I highly recommend to stay here. I'm gonna go all the way, I'm gonna back way up. I'm gonna explain the design of this hotel, and then we're gonna come back closer and we're gonna talk about that piece right there, that black box. It's been a mystery of this hotel for a very long time, and we're gonna unlock the reason that's there today. And over on this side is the Swan Resort. Similar, but not the same design. Same architect. Basically, they split the two. One looks upon the other. It's really neat. Fun fact, when these hotels first opened in 1990, these hotels offered the largest convention space in the southeastern United States. Also, when we're done, we'll take a quick brief tour through the hotel so you can see the insides of these. A couple other fun facts about the architect that built this. For the Walt Disney Company, Mr. Graves, not only was he responsible for building the Swan and Dolphin hotels in 1990, but he also built the Team Disney building in Burbank, California in 91, the Hotel New York and Disneyland Paris in 1992, and finally the post office in Celebration, Florida in 1996. And that post office in Celebration is a pretty cool design. I'll have to show you it sometime. Here we go. Here we go. This is a great view, especially at night. This is an amazing view right here. Okay, why does this look like this? Well, I'm going to tell you. There's a design element incorporated in this. This is all part of theming and design. Also, the peak of the Swan and Dolphin is not quite 200 feet, because if it was, it'd have a blinking red light on it. This building does not use forced perspective. However, it has the appearance of being absolutely gigantic because of how it's situated. So the reason this was built like this was one of the first steps in themed design for hotels. The triangle is meant to represent a mountain, and if you notice the curvature here, it's designed to look like a mountain coming out of the Everglades. And if you notice, you can see paintings on the side here that look like the thrush from the Everglades. And also on the top are really neat little fountain features. Also, the dolphin, that does not look like a typical dolphin. I hear that from people a lot. That doesn't look like a dolphin. It's a Greek mythology dolphin. That's why they chose that. Everglades and a mountain rising right out of them. And they do this so well because this hotel can be seen pretty much anywhere on property. It is a sight to behold. Once you drive onto Disney World property, you can usually see that peak from somewhere on this property. It's amazing. So after this hotel was done and complete, the Disney company actually coined the phrase entertainment architecture to describe what Mr. Graves had created here. The Walt Disney World Dolphin and Swan hotels were early groundbreaking ventures into considering design as an important part of the hospitality experience. And if you notice, pretty much everything on Disney property is themed, with the exception of a few. The Swan Reserve over there, I wouldn't say that's themed. It's just kind of a fancy hotel. One of the big questions that was asked to Mr. Graves on why he designed these hotels like this, his exact quote was, "I don't like those tall glass buildings." He referred to them as refrigerator boxes. He wanted the architecture to tell a story, which is exactly what this does. And now the hotel, both of them have been added onto and changed. Well, not added onto, but they've been changed a lot over the years. And a lot of the stuff that was originally designed isn't here anymore. But he designed the carpets. He even designed the china for some of the restaurants. I mean, Mr. Graves designed a lot for this hotel. He was truly an absolute artist of an architect. Not like the crap that's put out nowadays by, I'm going to just say it, Gensler. Gensler Architects, there is no way they don't have a hand in a lot of the Disney architectural designs. That's how we wound up with that ridiculous Polynesian tower. There's nothing to that. It's a generic building. Imagine if they would have let that Polynesian tower be built back in the 90s under Michael Eisner. You'd have probably had something a whole lot better. All right, let's go find out what this black box is all about. Also, too, I've done my research on this. I'm not just pulling these facts and statements out of my rear end and just making something for YouTube content. There was a lot of careful research that went into this. So here we go. The black box. What is it? This is a question asked of Michael Graves. He said, many people mistakenly believe the black box in the center of the Dolphin Hotel was meant for a monorail entrance similar to the one on the Contemporary Resort. Is that true? You hear so many people say that was supposed to have been for the monorail. They were going to expand the monorail. The monorail was going to come all the way out here, and it was going to go through the center of the Dolphin Hotel and down through the Swan down there. But as things go, that's a really cool story. Cool story, bro. But that's not why it's there. So why this black box is there, and this is quoting from Robert Graves, the architect of the Swan and Dolphin. He says, no, not at all. That is not what this black box is for. It is the heart of the mountain that has exploded. The Dolphin is this mountain that has struggled its way to thrust out of the tropical rainforest. That's why there are banana leaves painted alongside of the building. That's just what we were looking at. The thrush, as I called it. It is a mountain that dramatically arose, and in the process its heart exploded, and the water cascades out 9 stories down the side of the hotel, passing through the 5 clamshell basins to a fountain and eventually splashing into Crescent Lake. The walkway from the railings to the landscaping mimic waves that splash onto the side of the Swan. Also, there was another little bit of fun facts in there that this is also designed. So from an architect standpoint, to have a structure like this, you need support in the middle. Otherwise, the whole thing's going to come crashing down. You got to be able to support a building like that. So when this thing opened in 1990s, you got to remember that the architecture was, still evolving, and they were, trying to come up with new and bold ideas. So in order to have a triangle like this, you have to have support, because without a center support, all that weight is going to come crashing down. So basically, they themed the black box like the heart is exploding out of the mountain, and you can see the clamshells right there. So you can see the clamshells right there, and the water is actually there. That water's not on at the moment, but it's designed. See the darkness? It looks like the water is pouring out of the center of the mountain, down the clamshells into the main one, and then out of the big clamshell, and then down here into the lake. And then if you go over this way, as we walk back toward the Swan, the waves painted on the side that are kind of hidden by the trees, that's to represent the water splashing up onto the building from the Swan and Dolphin. That is pretty neat. That is really cool, actually. That's storytelling. That's Disney World. And that's what they need to get back to. This is architecture and design. This is why people pay the money they pay to stay at Walt Disney World, to be immersed. The other reason that black box is here is that is a very similar structure. Imagine pulling that out of there and having something very similar to like this on this bench right here, right? This is a giant support which is going to hold anything that's leaning up against that is going to be held up by this solid box. So imagine taking this and putting it right in there. And that's what's helping to hold all of this up. So it's a solid, strong building. So as far as the rooms up here, okay, this is also pretty neat with this hotel. You can see where the balcony is up there. There's access space there, and then there are rooms just above that. But above that row of rooms, the first row above the balcony where they're all black right there, everything above that and up is all fake. They have lights near the windows that they can periodically turn on and off in different patterns to make it look like there's people in there. But that is all just open space up there. And again, this hotel is less than 200 feet because there are no red lights on the top. But because of the way this thing is designed, it has the appearance of being like 300 or 400 feet tall. And I'm not sure if this is intentional or not, but if you look at the dark windows up there, around the vent system up there, they have an arrow that points upward. I can't find anything on that or why that's there, what that means, but just through observation, I couldn't help but notice that. So, ladies and gents, yes, using gendered language, that is why That black box is there. It's all part of the theming and part of the structure. But it is neat, though, the urban legends that the monorail was supposed to go through that. Could you imagine? I mean, could you only imagine if the monorail, if that was completely hollow in the inside, kind of like how Contemporary is with the monorail, if that had an opening in it where the monorail passed through that and the monorail beam actually went overhead and it went straight through the Swan and then back out. That'd have been neat. Been really neat. So let's take a walk through here, shall we? And also, too, this waterfall is meant to represent Crescent Lake, which is this lake over here where all these boats are at. It's meant to be an extension of this. And I believe if you look at this from the air, from up top, from high up, this lake looks just like a crescent. Hence the name, right? I know, it's amazing. This is also a really nice place to stand right here on a very warm day, because there's always an abundance of water splashing off the fountain. If you're ever here on Disney World property and you want a really nice dinner, not many people talk about this, but Todd English's Blue Zoo, it's well worth it. Make a reservation there or stop in when it's not so busy and have a good dinner. It's incredible. And this lobby reveal never gets old. If you'll notice when we get into the lobby, you'll notice the fountain up here continues on. It's kind of like the beginnings of the big fountain outside. And during Christmas time, they put red and green lights on these crystals up here. The whole thing lights up like red and green diamonds. See, this is why I can't stand newer Disney architecture, because they don't incorporate water features into their hotels. Yes, I know they're a lot more money and it's high maintenance, but look at this. This is amazing. The research I did doesn't mention anything about this, but from what I'm understanding, going with the theming, is that the water is starting here on this fountain. So when the mountain rose out of the Everglades and it poured everything out, this is the water that was inside that is now pouring outside of the building down through the clamshells and into Crescent Lake, kind of as an origination point. If you are staying on Disney World property, I highly recommend taking a day, taking a break from the parks and going and visiting the resorts. You can do that. You can do what we locals call resort hopping. It's easiest to take Disney World transportation, because like to park at Swan and Dolphin here, I think it's like 30 or 40 bucks. So like I said, I just parked at Epcot and walked on through Epcot and then came into the Swan and Dolphin here. But you can go to Disney Springs pretty much and take a bus anywhere. That's what I would recommend doing. So now we will take us a little walk across the way and we'll go see the Swan. One other thing I thought I'd highlight here is right outside Shula's Steakhouse. Have never eaten here, but it's on the list of things to do. Don Shula, one of the greatest coaches in the NFL of all time. Coaches the perfect regular season, 1972, and it's never been repeated. Don Shula also has one of the greatest quotes of all time. One that I really, really like, and I put it into every aspect of my life. Strong men blame themselves, weak men blame others. When you think about it, it's pretty amazing. Shula started at the Dolphins in 1970, and in just 2 years, he led them to the perfect season. Here's a really neat view of the fountain coming down the escalator out of the Dolphin. All right, here we are. So you can see, now that we're closer, you can see the waves on the Swan Hotel. And those are the waves from the Dolphin. Uh-oh, copyright, copyright. If you notice too, like I pointed out earlier, the Swan does have a black box, but it doesn't have the same story as it does on the Dolphin. I think they wanted to just match it up on that one. The other thing I like about the Swan, though, is they have these really neat courtyards like this. Every now and then you'll see these really decked out. They do a lot of weddings out here. But I mean, think about this. That's a beautiful venue. The only downside would be you got some slack-jawed yokel up there going, "Hey man, I love her. She's carrying my baby." Even a nice place to just come out and relax, too. They basically have them accenting both sides of the hallway. This is the lobby for the Swan. Like I said, it's nowhere near as elaborate as the Dolphin is. And I know they've changed the carpet over the years. There's no way is this carpet still here from 1990, but as I said before, Mr. Graves even designed the designs in the carpet. One of the other neat features about these hotels, both of them, is they have a plethora of really good restaurants. This one has Garden Grove and Kimono's sushi restaurant. Garden Grove is a fantastic breakfast place. If I can show it to you, I will. I mean, honestly, a lot of people don't even know this is here. But I would highly suggest, if you're not staying here, make some time one morning and come over to the Swan Hotel and get you a reservation here. A lot of times they do walk-ups too, because again, it's not really a very high in-demand restaurant, because unless you're staying here, people really don't know this is here. Give us a try. It's fantastic, and it's an amazing setting. There you go. There's some selections you can find there. My all-time favorite right there. Can't go wrong. Steak and eggs. That is a theme park breakfast. That'll fuel you with energy all day. And then Il Molino across the way, I've eaten there. Fantastic Italian. It's incredible. And it's about that time. I've noticed all the advertisements for all the resorts I've walked by. It's about time for the campfire and stories and roasted marshmallows. This is the other reason why I think these are some of the greatest hotels on Disney World property right here. Crescent Lake right there. So one of the neatest parts about staying here, and not just here at Swan and Dolphin, but even the other ones I walked past, Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach Club, is no matter where you are on this property, you can walk to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. There's the walkway to Hollywood Studios right there. And then just North of that is the walkway to Disney's boardwalk and Epcot. I'm going to assume that's north. I don't see a compass rose on here, so I'm going by the direction that up is always north on this. Or if you don't feel like walking, there are water taxis. It'll take you to Epcot and Hollywood Studios as well. I was going to wrap this up, but what do y'all think? Want to do a quick look at the Swan Reserve? Yeah. Yeah, me too. Besides, it's right over yonder. And as you find yourself on the walkways, there's all of the directional signs. Walt Disney World Swan, Disney Water Taxi, the Boardwalk, the Dolphin, Fantasia Mini Golf, Swan Reserve, and Grotto Pool area. And we have one of the the jump points from the Guardians of the Galaxy right here. And here's the pathway, sidewalk if you will, that leads you to the Swan Reserve. Let's see what I was saying about the Dolphin. Even across the street, you can still see the peak of that thing. This has an entrance very similar to the Dolphin, where you go up the escalator into the lobby here. Now, if you go into the Dolphin on the lobby side, the street side, it walks into the lobby, and that's where you have the really cool ceiling at night, which gives you the look of the stars in the night sky. If you come into the Dolphin on the way I did, where the fountain is, and you have this escalator ride up into the grand reveal, which is one of my favorite parts of that hotel. Kind of like the Contemporary going up into the atrium. And here we are. It's a modern hotel. I mean, it's nothing like what's across the street, I'll tell you that right now. It's nice. It just, you can tell different architects did this building. These hotels aren't completely devoid of Disney, but it's pretty much, they're very subtle, put it that way. I mean, they do have gift shops and all things like that where you can get all kinds of Disney World merchandise and everything you need for your vacation. But like I said, the characters in that, you will not see them at these hotels and resorts. Also should add, it is a pretty penny to stay here every night too. It's actually more expensive to stay here than it is at the actual Dolphin Hotel, which is the nicest one on property. Oh, the Magical Express. Oh, mirrors. This is really nice, actually. There's the pool. That is beautiful back here. And this is also a really nice picture in view of the Swan and Dolphin Resort. Well, the Dolphin. Swan and or Dolphin. Here you have it, ladies and gents. That's a tour of the grounds. And the main feature of our vlog, the mystery of the black box and the big triangle of the Dolphin and what all this means.
What?
Well, everybody, I'm back at Epcot. Time to wrap this thing up. I hope you all enjoyed that. That was the Swan and Dolphin, the legend of the black box, and why the Swan and Dolphin is shaped the way it is. Hope you got something out of that. Let me know if you want more videos like this, more vlogs. I've got a lot of information that I can go research. I love doing it. And I've got a few more projects planned. If there's any hotels on Disney property, Universal property, that you want me to take a closer look at and do a deeper dive into their meanings and all the hidden secrets in that lies within these hotels and resorts, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to do it. Like I said, I got a few more projects in the planning stage, because again, this takes a bit of research to do, but I enjoy doing it. It is a lot of fun. Thank you all again for your support. I will see you all very soon. Have a good evening from Epcot Center's International Gateway. This has been the truth, and it has been actual. And I hope you all found this mighty satisfactual. See ya. Quick little bonus on the vlog. Test track is running. It's not running with guests, but it is testing. Man, haven't heard that noise in almost a year. It's very similar to when Hulk closed at Islands of Adventure. Hulk has a very specific sound if you've ever been to Islands of Adventure, and when that was not running for a year, a little over a year, Islands of Adventure didn't quite feel the same. Just like with Epcot. It's good to hear the test track cars going around the track. I don't know if we can see any through here. Let's see if I can get a glimpse. Oh, can't quite see them. Dang. You can kind of see into test track a little bit. I'm right here by where they have the cars on display and the construction walls are, but it looks like right there and there are the queue lines. That, if I had to guess, is standby, and this would be like it was before Lightning Lane and Single Rider. If I had to bet, whenever this opens up, we'll see if I'm right. I was trying to find an angle to see if we could see the cars going around the track, but nope, you can just see the shadows of them going by. Well, that's a good sight. That means that they're making progress to opening this, but just looking at this here, it looks like it's still a ways away from opening yet. Like there's, looks like just in this entryway, there's still quite a bit to do yet. They did say June, but that's in about 3 weeks, so I don't think that's going to happen. My guess is going to be late July, probably August. Once again, we'll see how close I am to being right.